What's the value of camps and showcases in the recruiting process? The short and simple answer is it depends. There are a lot of factors to consider when deciding whether or not to attend a camp or showcase. Oftentimes, they can be very expensive and require long distance travel, so you really want to make sure that attending one is going to bring enough value to you in the recruiting process. Also, attending any of these events is really not necessary until your sophomore year at the earliest, unless they're in your local area and it isn't a stretch financially. It's also important that you've done your initial homework and created a list of schools from your research before considering camps or showcases, because one of the key factors in deciding whether or not to attend will be which coaches are there. If you don't have your list created, then you won't know which coaches you want and need to get in front of. So what's the difference between a camp and a showcase? A camp is usually where the recruit gets to interact with and be coached on court by the college coaches that are in attendance. Oftentimes, camps are held at the institution of the host coach, but they can also be held at a neutral site and be organized by a third party. A showcase is where coaches come and watch you compete against other players of a similar level, but they don't get to work with you on court. It's more of a recruiting evaluation similar to what happens at a regular tournament. There's one important fact that recruits should be well aware of right up front about camps and showcases, which is that an invitation from a college coach to attend a camp or showcase is not necessarily a sign of recruiting interest. These are extremely lucrative operations for college coaches, and the more kids they have, the better from a financial standpoint. So how can you tell if an invitation to a camp is of real interest or not? I would say that if a college coach has recruiting interest in you, they will make it clear in their communication by either asking to set up a phone call, inviting you on a campus visit, or using clear and explicit recruiting language that expresses interest. If their camp invitation only includes information about the camp and addresses no other steps in the recruiting process, then it's probably safe to assume the interest is low to none. Having coached in exposure camps and attended recruiting showcases, I would say that from a coach's standpoint, a camp is more helpful in terms of really getting to know a recruit. It's so valuable to be able to work with a player on court and get a sense of what coaching him or her is like. You can also see how they interact with other coaches and recruits both on and off the court. Showcases, on the other hand, can be useful when a coach of a school that you're interested in hasn't seen you play and may not be able to get to one of your tournaments. A lot of coaches don't have the recruiting budgets to be able to travel all over to events to scout players. So a showcase can be a more efficient way for you to get in front of them. At the end of the day, you have to weigh your options and determine whether going to a camp and or a showcase is more valuable from a time and money standpoint than perhaps playing in a particular tournament or making a campus visit. If it was me, I would only go to a camp or showcase if I had already started the recruiting process with a coach or coaches in attendance, meaning at least one phone call with them, preferably more, and they were schools of medium to high interest of mine. This will help ensure that you only attend camps and showcases that have the potential to make a real difference in the recruiting process.